Now we are discussing vanishing or exploding gradients. This concept of vanishing or exploding gradients is observed whenever we are taking a large neural network, complex neural network, which is consisting of more layers. For example, here in this deep neural network, we are consisting of many number of layers, and in each layer, I am taking two activation units, except in the last layer, we are taking only one activation unit. We are taking two input features. Now the W1 and W2 and W3 and so on, all the parameter matrices sizes are 2 by 2, except the last parameter matrix Wn matrix size is 1 by 2. Now in the first layer, we have two activation units. When I want to find the Z1, when I want to find the Z2, I am using the matrix representation Z. So this is the Z. Because this is the first layer, I am using Z1 superscript 1. Now to find this Z1, we are using the W1, which the matrix size of W1 is a 2 by 2 matrix, and we are multiplying this W1 with X. The matrix size of X is 2 by 1. So we are multiplying a 2 by 2 matrix with the 2 by 1, a resultant is a 2 by 1 matrix. Now assume that if we are taking the W, the 2 by 2 matrix is like some 1.1001 identity matrix. If we have considered W as an identity matrix, that means when we are multiplying, what we are actually doing to get the Z1 1? What is the Z1 1? Z1 1 is nothing but W1 into X. So we are multiplying this matrix with X. What is that X? X1 into X2. So when we multiply this matrix with X1 and X2, we are getting X1. So Z1 1 is nothing but X1. So when we multiply this matrix, when we are multiplying, now we are taking Z2, we want Z21, the second element in this matrix. When we are multiplying this matrix, we are getting a result X1 and X2. So here Z1 superscript 1 is X1, Z superscript 1 subscript 2 is X2. Means the same X1 and X2 are appearing as outputs of the activation functions when we are taking the W as an identity matrix. Similarly, if we are taking the identity matrix here also, the outputs will be X1 and X2. At Y also, we are getting outputs as X1 and X2. Now, so here until the last layer, we are getting the X1 and X2. Now, because we are taking only one activation unit in the last layer, we are adding the weight by using the weight X1 and its weight W into X1 plus W into X2. We are getting finally the predicted output. In this case, we are taking the B as 0 because to make it convenient. And here we are not using any sigmoid activation function or tan H activation function or rectified linear unit activation function. We are taking some simple linear function. What is that linear function? Whatever the input Z is coming, that is the output from the activation function. Until now, we used to perform two steps. First, we used to find the Z value. We used to find WL into AL minus 1 plus B. As we neglected the B will be 0. But now in this case, in the second case, we used to calculate the activation functions of that particular layer by using G of Z. But now this G of Z is nothing but Z. We are taking, because we are taking the linear function as an activation function. Because we are taking the linear function, whatever the X we are giving, that will be the output from this activation layer with which is multiplied with W1. So W1 into X, W1 into X is the output from the first layer. So this is the output from the first layer, and W2 into W1 into X, this is the output from the second layer. And similarly, W superscript 3 into W superscript 2 into W superscript 1 into X. This is the output from the third layer. Similarly, WL into WL minus 1 into WL minus 2 into and so on. This is the output from the final layer. Now, if you observe here, if we take W equal to 1.500, instead of taking identity matrix, if we are taking 1.500, then we are multiplying, because we are taking only two elements, 1.5, 1.5, remaining two elements are 0. We are multiplying, assume that I am taking x1 and x2 input features as 1, 1. So we are multiplying 1 with 1.5. The output of the activation unit is 1.5. So this is also 1.5. Again, uh, assume that we are taking all the parameter matrices as 1.5, 0, 0, 1.5, except the last parameter, except L. Except L, everything, because this is 1 by 2 matrix. Because this is 1 by 2 matrix, all remaining parameter matrices are 2 by 2 matrices. We are taking remaining all parameter matrices as 1.5, 0, 0, 1.5. So when we are multiplying 1.5 with the 1.5, result is 2.25. Similarly, we are multiplying 1.5, 1.5, like that. How many times we are multiplying? We are multiplying this 1.5 to the power of L minus 1 times, because the last layer we are not using the same W, same parameter matrix, assume. So if we are using 100 layers, then we are 1.5 power 100, means it is like 3 to the power 100 by 2 to the power 100. 1.5 power 100 means it is a very large value. Now we are getting the output like it is an exploding output. We can call it as an exploding output. Instead of that, if we are reducing the W value to 0.5, now this time we will get 0.5 power L minus 1. 0.5 power L minus 1, it is a very small value, means it is vanishing. Because we calculate the dW by using the W only, the gradient explodes when we are taking the values of parameter matrix greater than 1, and the gradients vanish when we are taking the values of the parameter matrix less than 1. So this is the problem in the real time we are getting. Practically, there is no full solution for this problem, but there is a partial solution we can approach. What is that partial solution? So we are giving we are taking a single neuron example, and we are saying whenever we are taking a layer of neural network, if we are taking how many units are there in that particular layer, compared to the layers, we should vary the W. If the particular layer is having more number of activation units, then the W value should be very small. So according to the number of units in the particular number of activation units in the particular layer of neural network, we should vary the W. So the variance of W should be equal to 1 by n. We are varying inversely. When we are taking the rectified linear unit, example, we are writing it as a 2 by n. So how we implement it? By using the Python code np.random.random, we are taking a random matrix depending on the size of the W matrix. If I am using 2 by 2, then it is a 2 by 2 matrix, and then we are taking square root of 2 by number of activation units in that particular layer. If the number of activation units in the particular layer are 2, then it is square root of 2 by 2, means square root of 1 means 1. So depending on the because the number of activation units are only 2, it is not much affecting W. So W is becoming a simply random matrix whatever we are taking. But if the number of units in that particular activation layer are increasing, if there are 20 activation units in that particular layer, then it is root over 2 by 20. It is reducing the value of W. Whenever we are reducing this value of W, it is affecting in the real time. It is affecting in the real time to give the partial solution for this problem. Now a question may arise in you, why we are varying the W value with respect to the number of activation units? Because this is a simple logic. Take this example. Whenever we are having four features, then the Z value is the combination like W1x1 plus W2x2 plus W4x4. Whenever the number of activation units in a particular layer are increasing, then there is a chance that the Z value is incrementing. So we are concentrating only the number of activation units in that particular layer, because if the number of activation units are increasing, the Z value is increasing. So if we can vary, whenever we are taking, if we are taking four activation units, we have to make sure that in the denominator we should divide by 4 or with square root of 4, anything is fine, but we should vary with respect to the number of activation units. If the number of activation units are 10, means that Z, now we have to write Z as W1x1 or W1A1, W1A subscript 1 plus W2 A subscript 2 and so on, W10 A subscript 10. This gives a very large value of the Z. Now we are saying just divide it with respect to square root of 10 if it is a linear function. If it is a rectified linear function, then we are telling take a random matrix and multiply, because we already told previously, initialize the W with the random matrix and multiply it with the 0.01. Now we are changing the definition. Even we are not telling to multiply with the 0.01 also. Sometimes this 0.01 also may become the larger value, because when we are using a more number of activation units, we are adding actually all these activation units to get the Z of the next layer. So now we are telling, whenever we are using the rectified linear unit, just take the random matrix and then multiply it with the square root of 2 by n power L minus 1. If we are taking tan h as an activation function, then instead of taking square root of 2 by n power L minus 1, we should multiply this random matrix with tan h of square root of 1 by n power L minus 1. Some other programmers also use Javier, but in generally these two are sufficient to implement. Whenever we observe the problem, this vanishing or exploding the gradients. So as of now we discussed this vanishing or exploding gradients is occurring only in the large neural networks. So we are giving the solution whenever you are observing more number of activation units in the layer, because all these activation units are deciding the next layer Z value. We are saying with the increment of the number of activation units in that particular layer, decrement the value of the W. That is what we are implementing here.